Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 13th episode of the Basement Podcast. I am your host, Thucydides, and joining today is the wonderful, I actually have no idea, we'll see if anyone wants to join me later, but anyways, here on the Basement Podcast, we're here to have some good times, hot takes, and just generally make fun of liberalism and culture from a conservative point of view. If any of these words make brain happy, then please subscribe so we can keep doing this. Anyways, getting into it, so the new movie Am I Racist just released about a week ago, another documentary from Matt Walsh, though this one with more of a comedy lean to it. And of course, in true Basement fashion, we are going to be reviewing it. A lot of people have been referring to it as a Borat-style mockumentary, but I hesitate to call it that because it actually does some real journalism. And it's looking into the race grift and the whole DEI industry that has taken over the corporate world. The film starts with Matt playing his character Matt on a morning TV talk show, helping the hosts, one more than the other, stretch out of their whiteness, of course. And then he goes back to how he got there. Typical classic movie thing. So you might be wondering how I got into this situation with the beep, boop, boop. It doesn't play that song in the background, but yeah. Anyways, it shows how one day he thought maybe he is racist. So he goes to a race support group. And once they realize who he is, Matt Walsh, they kick him out. And this prompts the development of his hilarious character, Matt, who is Matt, but Matt with a DEI certification from DEI certifications or diversityandinclusion.com, I think it was. And so with his new costume and his Lady Baller's wig and his glasses and his slightly more coiffed beard, he goes undercover with a few race experts, including, but not limited to, DiAngelo, the author of White Fragility, and some PhD in race baiting or whatever. At every interaction that he has with all of these race experts is just so funny. It's what makes this movie funny. It's not that he's hamming it up. He's not out there cracking jokes and like, oh. But he's just asking the perfect questions and taking these people's ideologies, what they're busy spewing, to their natural conclusion. At one point, he gets DiAngelo to give one of his producers $30 for no other reason that he's black and it's reparations. And when this scene was happening in the theater, oh, you could feel the air. Everyone was waiting. Is she gonna do it? Is she gonna do it? And when she gave that guy, Ben, $30, dude, the whole theater lost it. We were all just cracking up. And this was far from the only time the whole theater was belly laughing. I'll be honest, the whole movie is funny. It starts out like mildly funny, and then after about 5 or 10 minutes, it really gets going, and everyone's just laughing the whole time. At one point, I am embarrassed to admit this, I may have let out a Seth Rogen laugh. You know, the that he does. I felt kind of bad. It was a little Kamala too, so I'm a little... Maybe I am a liberal. Anyways, the whole movie is really well done. Like, not just Matt being funny, but also the production value. Everything's well lit, very aesthetic, and super well shot. And just because it was funny doesn't mean that it lost the plot, pun intended, on what it was about. The whole movie exposes the race grift. And it's all about these the grifters, these scammers who are very happy to take thousands or tens of thousands of dollars to dunk on white people for an hour. One woman was paid, the Daily Wire paid this woman $50,000 just to come on and talk about the time that a mascot in a parade didn't see her 2 small kids and then talk about how racist that was for a whole 3 sentences. She said like yes was half the word she said. Just, come on, man. This documentary, it tells a very similar story to the other Daily Wire documentary, The Greatest Lie Ever Sold, the one that Candace Owens did back when she was kind of on good terms with the Daily Wire. Oh, that's strange. And really the story is, it's all about the money. Am I Racist exposes these people with their own words, and then throughout the whole movie, every expert they talk to, they put on what it costs them to talk to that expert. And for Robin, it was $30,000 or $15,000. For another race expert, it was like $5,000 or $30,000 to put on this like race support group that Matt was outed at. So they were happy to pay these people, and these people were happy to take their money. And then it's garbage. It's so absurd. But this is the genius of Matt Walsh in that he can expose people with their own words. We saw it in What is a Woman? Every time he would ask them, what is a woman? And they'd be like, I don't know what you mean by woman, because a woman is someone who identifies as a woman. And then he's like, what is that? And they're like, I would like it if you left. If you haven't watched What is a Woman, you should, but that's the whole movie in a nutshell. Anyways, we see it again here with Am I Racist? When he asks these people, am I racist? And they're like, that's a really complicated issue. But Matt doesn't need rhetoric or catchy slogans or shouting to win debates. He just asks questions. I think he does this better than maybe any other Daily Wire host. He doesn't have to talk over these people. He's just quiet. And then someone will say something, and he just asks the most disarming question. And you just hear this little fart every time these people see this question. You hear a little, and then their brains let a bit of smoke out of their ears. And you can see there's a blue screen on the other side of their eyes. And they just fold. They just stop. You can hear it when they're talking. They're always like, that's a really complicated question. It's so funny. And because he's undercover as Matt, the certified DEI expert with his certification from diversityandinclusion.com, Compliance Made Easy, they all let their guard down. They're just, it's Matt, he's one of us. He's a DEI expert. And it's like, they're not defensive, and they just were like, oh, I'm stupid. What's funny is that throughout the documentary, the only people that actually provide him resistance with what he's saying is the conservatives they interview. Either it's the people in that little deep south town bar, or that one dude on the streets of Nashville who's like, yeah, you got some growing to do. Or Wilford Riley, who wrote Hate Crime Hoax, they interviewed him. Or maybe just Hate Crime if you're Matt's producer. That was a funny. Another hilarious gag from this movie. Matt's ability to call out absurdity with a question and a well-timed pause, it makes him one of the funniest people on the internet, I would say. He doesn't need to be absurd or loud or have any sort of visual component even. It's just with words and ideas, he is hilarious. It's just so incredibly dry as well. Oh my word. The straight face he puts on this entire movie. He says it's easy when he's like, oh, these people actually think this and they're thinking. And he says it's easy, put on a straight face. I don't think I could do it. I think I would absolutely poop myself laughing so hard in the room with these people. But he is the master of the stone cold expression. I think playing poker against Matt, I can't think if Tim Pool said this, but playing poker against Matt Walsh would probably be awful because he would win every time because you would have no idea if he's bluffing or not. Stone cold guy. Absolutely wild. Anyways, this air of Matt Walsh, his ability to be ice cold but ask completely disarming and hilarious questions, is why his show, Judged, which released around the same time as Mr. Bertram, is way funnier than Mr. Bertram, because Mr. Bertram is a garbage show that is largely unfunny with rare exceptions that are few and far between, and it's otherwise trash. Sorry, I get triggered when it comes to Mr. Bertram. Anyways, and Lady Ballers, the other Daily Wire comedy, while that one's written to be absurd and very, very on the nose when it comes to the transgender issue, AIR, Am I Racist? Sorry, I'm using slang, guys, is largely unscripted. It's interviews, right? How you're not going to script an interview that involves Robin DiAngelo giving $30 to a black guy named Ben for being black. It's just so funny. It's so funny. Easily the funniest movie that's come out of the Daily Wire. It's not that they're unfunny, but this one is particularly funny and definitely worthy of their first theatrical release. Ultimately, the biggest flaw of this movie is that it was too short. It's about 100 minutes long, I think 100, 104 minutes. But they could have gone on forever. There's just an endless supply of race scriptures. I'm actually shocked they didn't get like Whoopi Goldberg or Oprah or Michelle Obama or someone that's like more famous and also black. It would have been so fun for Matt to just wreck Whoopi Goldberg. I would have paid twice the amount of money just to see that. But ultimately, the movie ticket was like $12, which is pretty good where I'm from. Movies are usually like $15 or more dollars, so I don't mind. And if you haven't seen it, it's like $12. What are you waiting for? Go watch it. It came out a week ago. My local theater booked it to show like 2 or 3 times a day for 4 days. And that was a week ago. And then I just checked and they actually extended it to the end of September, which is like, okay, that's pretty good, you know? Starting off with a few days, 1,500 theaters, and they're extending it to be multiple weeks long. Like, well played, Daily Wire. Way to go. And I think in this first week that it's been opened, I was looking at the box office numbers, and it's already, like, its budget was like $3 million, which is not a lot, considering how much they paid, how much of that budget went into just paying these grifters to show up. Like, easily $100,000 or more went into interviewing these people. And another $100,000 went into Matt's wig because that thing is gold. But they've definitely already made a profit. I think they're already up $1.5 million on that movie. It's number 4 in the box office for this week. It beat out Inside Out 2, which has somehow been in theaters for 11 weeks. It was good, but it wasn't that good, team. Yeah, first movie in a long time that I would genuinely consider seeing again if I was going with people. I wouldn't go on my own because I hate watching movies on my own. We'll get into that someday. But anyways, stupid funny movie. Absolutely worth seeing it. If you haven't, get to your local theater. If it's one of the 1,540 theaters that are carrying it, get out there, watch them. It's international, baby. It was playing in Canada. It's playing in America. Hilarious. Anyways, if there are other Basement members who are out here looking to get in on this review action, I will cut them in here. All right, I have been joined by somebody. Everybody welcome Lewis. Woo, round of applause.
Hello.
So, you watched Am I Racist? General thoughts of the movie. What did you think of it?
I would say that I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what to expect going into it, like if it would be similar to his last documentary, or if it would go more the way of Lady Ballers. I wasn't sure.
A genuine
But
concern for many.
yeah, but I was very happy actually with what I saw.
Good, that's good. Ultimately, I think the question we're all looking to have answered, and also curious about what your answer is, every single of the 6 people watching us, are you racist?
That is a very good question, and it is in fact the question that I went into the theater hoping that I would get answered. And I think my conclusion from seeing the film was I don't think I am racist, which was a little bit relieving. And that sounds weird to say because, like, obviously I don't hate anyone. That's not like a part of who I am. But something that I was discussing with some of my friends who I saw the film with afterward was that we all kind of felt a little bit of a sense of relief where it was like we've heard a lot of things about racism over the last couple years, and it was always like this underlying sense of you're going to do something wrong or you're going to get canceled for something if you say something wrong or treat someone wrong by accident, or there's just this like very like tense there's tenseness there for like a lot of people where they don't want to step on any toes because most people are good people who don't want to hurt anyone. But seeing the film and seeing some of the more like ridiculous radical ideas around racism being like made fun of and kind of showing them for what they really are, which is like a huge scam in a lot of ways, that was very relieving. And I feel like a lot of the people in our group felt like, oh, it's okay. Like it's not all that. It's not as serious as people have been telling us it is, or as specifically like activists have been telling us it is. And at the end of the day, we're all people, and most people don't really care that much and aren't offended by all these things that the race activists are telling us that they people will be offended by.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely it really does shine a light on how much of a scam it is. Like these people are they're in it for the money. You know, they're
Mhm.
not they don't care about, oh, I don't want to solve racism. They just want to make butt tons of money. Like that one lady, 50 grand to come on camera and whine about a mascot that didn't see your kids.
That was insane.
$50,000.
That was a crazy amount of
That
money.
the whole theater, when I watched it, the whole theater gasped.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
all like, "What?" Okay, next question. Favorite part of the movie, and if you need time to think about it, I have a part lined up.
Okay. Well, I think I already know what my part is, and I don't
Okay.
know if I want to say because I mean, I guess spoilers are kind of a given since it's a review. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's.
Okay.
It's
Then I definitely have a part in mind.
all right. Go ahead.
It was absolutely the part where they got Robin DiAngelo to pay the guy $30.
Yeah, 100%.
That
Oh,
was a beautiful moment. The whole theater, like that was another thing, was that the theater going experience for this film was amazing for
it was
us.
incredible.
The whole theater was like roaring, which
Mm-hmm.
was amazing. And people were like chatting a little bit throughout the movie, and I could hear the guy behind me just before she went and got her wallet. He was like, "Come on, lady, buck up," and like then she got her wallet, and everyone was like screaming. It was amazing.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was so funny. I think my favorite part was when he's like, "I want a sandwich," and then he's got the Jussie Smollett interview in the background, and then he's like recreating it, and they're
That was
like, and the guy
amazing.
walked up and he was like, "Empire," and then the two guys walk up and he's like, "Daily Wire," and then
That was
just
beautiful.
as he's mouthing the words that Jussie's saying, it's just
That was also that
so
it, I was
funny.
so happy that like the comedy in that film totally hit. Like pretty much every single time.
Yeah, it
Um,
always
it
landed.
didn't feel forced, like, it didn't feel cringy. It genuinely got me to laugh, like, throughout the
Mm-hmm.
whole, and I was very much drawn in, and I can say the same for everyone sitting around me for sure. They were all very invested, which was awesome. It feels like this was one of the first, like, I mean, What Is a Woman was also very good. I
Mm-hmm.
almost feel like this one was, like, perfected a little bit, like, they took the
Mm-hmm.
same idea and they improved it. Um, because I think this
Mm-hmm.
was one of the first conservative films where I genuinely enjoyed the whole thing. Like like the whole thing had me gripped the whole time, which was
Mm-hmm.
very encouraging to see. It was also quite funny, because the theater that we went to, which is quite a large theater, um,
Mm-hmm.
the film was at the very back. Like, we had to
Same,
walk
yeah.
the entire, like, length of the theater to get it literally was next to the emergency exit that went outside, which was hilarious. Like, it felt
Mm-hmm.
like we were gonna go see some odd, like, restricted film in the back, but no, it was
Yeah.
just Matt Walsh's film at the back. Am I racist? We took a picture up front. It
Yeah.
was great.
Yeah, yeah, it was the same for me. I feel bad for all the people who missed the end credit scene.
Mhm.
I I'm ashamed to have laughed at when he said it rhymes with trigger, but I could not contain myself. I just burst out laughing when he said that.
That was cool. We stood because we were, like, about to leave.
Yeah.
And, when it started, we all just stood there and, like, in suspense. I think suspense would be the best word for it.
Yeah. You're like, is someone gonna say it?
Is something is it gonna be said? We weren't sure, but
You don't know.
yeah, I guess you have to watch the people who haven't seen the film, I guess you gotta go see the film
You
to
got
figure
if you
out
haven't
what we're
seen it,
talking about.
go see it. Go get your hiking boots because it's a long walk to the back of the theater.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah. Oh, iconic. And remarkably, number 4 box office this weekend.
Really?
Yeah. You know, it was up against like Inside Out 2 still somehow. A couple of the big things that released and it was number 4 in one weekend.
That's pretty good.
which
I
is
have to say, I'm quite
crazy.
proud.
Yeah. I think going back to what you said about it versus What Is a Woman, um, I think the big thing with What Is a Woman is that What Is a Woman was not intended to be funny
Mm,
so much as it was intended to be the exposure. It was supposed to expose the insanity that it was. But I think what they nailed with What Is a Woman over, or what they nailed with Am I Racist over What Is a Woman is that he was undercover.
mhm.
Because the zero chance Robin DiAngelo would give Matt Walsh the time of day. But Matt, certified DEI expert, 15 grand, she'll do it. And I
I
think if they had went into What Is a Woman with Matt in disguise, immensely would have been more effective.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that's what they really got this time around. I would have
Mm-hmm.
loved to have been a fly on the wall when Robin DiAngelo realized the people that she was talking to. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like even toward the end of the interview in the film, she was starting to get a little bit
She was
suspicious,
starting to
kind
get a
of
little
like, "What did I get
sus.
into?"
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm so curious because that I just can't believe they pulled that off.
Oh, gold.
It was
Gold.
amazing.
It was incredible. Any last words about Am I Racist besides go and see it?
Oh, I don't know. That's all I can say really, is I think people should absolutely go see it. It deserves and it needs the support.
It does. All right, that is the basement episode for today. I think I'll have I think I recorded a little outro, so I'll probably just cut into me yakking away saying bye or something like that.
Okay,
All right.
awesome.
And if not, then you'll be listening to this at the end of the podcast. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Basement Podcast. I have been your host, Thucydides. I don't know if anyone joined me because it's 3 in the afternoon and nobody likes me. Anyways, we'll see you guys in the next episode, which hopefully will be coming soon because I'm finally home. I've been away for 2 months and the music's fading, so you probably can't even hear half of this, but I've been away. I was in Australia. Yeah, went to a communist country, and oh, believe me, it was communist. But really cool. Yeah, Australia, and home now. So that's why I was only cranking out posts during the